I decided to switch to this brand of SSD after having the same panic and issues with the OWC or Pros others have mentioned in their reviews. I would like to add that it's nice the 2 screwdrivers needed to remove the MacBook Pro cover and T5 screw on the motherboard are included with the drive. I'll do a follow-up review in a few weeks after observing performance and general use. I would like to comment on how others have mentioned they can't use this SSD out of the box or do a time machine restore, and the only method to get this SSD functional is to clone the original volume. While cloning one volume to the other is one effective solution, I would like to offer another solution that doesn't require cloning and will allow you to restore your macOS Time Machine backup. First off, it's important to note fresh drives from the manufacturer are not formatted and do not have any sort of partition scheme. Hence, why you can't just place this SSD in your MacBook and boot it up and expect it to work. The macOS recovery partition would need to be installed in order to get any boot options, and since this drive out of the box is bare, I will walk you through the steps I took to get it to a functional state and a successful time machine restore. Step 1. You'll need to create a flash boot drive with the applicable macOS install files. There are 2 methods for doing so. A. Download the DiskMaker X application, which is a GUI interface for creating a bootable USB flash drive with the macOS install files. B. If you're comfortable using the terminal command line, there is a simple one-line command you can copy and paste from the following Apple support article, support.apple.com/NSHT201372. It's important to note, you must download the installer file from the App Store onto your machine in order. And once a previous macOS version is no longer supported, you will have a hard time finding it on the App Store since Apple will remove it. Once you have your macOS bootable USB flash drive created, you are ready to proceed with the next step. Step 2. Provided you have installed the new SSD in your MacBook, you can now boot up your MacBook with the bootable USB drive also inserted into a USB port. Power on your MacBook, and once you hear the Apple boot chime, press and hold the Option key, which will bring up a prompt to allow you to boot from the USB flash drive. You should see an icon with the application macOS version, i.e. Install macOS Mojave. It will take a few moments to load the applicable installation files and then launch the macOS Utilities menu. Important, you will first need to prep your drive with Disk Utility. Step 3, open Disk Utility app. By default, Disk Utility only lists volumes. You will want to see all devices by selecting View on the upper menu bar and select Show All Devices. This will now display the hardware ID for the SSD TS480GJDM850 media in the left column. Highlight this hardware by selecting it and then click the Erase button. You will then be prompted to give the SSD a name, i.e. Mac SSD, select the macOS partition type, macOS Extended Journal, and change the scheme from boot record to GID partition map. Click link in description for more reviews.